One of the things in traditional cultures, and in some places, like some people in Fes will still do this. In traditional cultures, when you went into the marketplace, they had aswaq, right? These were like rows of hanut, stores. Now, in America, the dumbest thing that you can do in marketing is what? Build a place next to a place where they're selling the same thing. I mean, anybody, right? Anybody been to business school? You always do your marketing analyses, right? And you find out, is there a need for this thing? Well, why would in traditional societies, why would they put them all in the same place? And so they call it suq al-attarin, right? They'll call it suq al, whatever they're selling. And this, so you go to Damascus, right? Everybody knows where the suq of the clothes, where they all are. The suq of the iskafiyin, where they sell the shoes. Every suq, right? Everybody knows where to go. They're all sitting there. Not only do they all sit there together, but traditionally, they usually prayed together. They were friends. They often were in guilds together. And actually apprenticed people, and they were often attended the same circles, had the same sheikhs. They were best friends. Seriously. What would happen is, if this guy who had the first store, he sold enough for the day, he would shut down and go back to home or go to the masjid and let his other brothers get what they needed. Now, I'm not making this up. It's hard to believe that there were actually people like this on the planet. But it's really true. And there's still a few left. I mean, they're really old usually, and their sons think they're idiots. Right? Because they've been to business school and have their MBAs now. Right? No, seriously. There's all these books, how to swim amongst the sharks. Right? No, there's business books in this culture teaching you how. They have an ad in, I think it was Time or U.S. News and World Report. It shows this guy looking in the mirror, the young guy looking in the mirror. He's in like a hotel, and it says he's going to eat the competition for breakfast. And then down below, written on the window, and then down below it says, and then he's going to take his kids to Marine World. And it's like an ad for a hotel. So this is the world and this is what he's saying is, we want to purify ourselves from all this stuff. We don't want to be like that. We want to actually coexist with other people. Right? The Prophet ﷺ said the disease, da'ul umam, is tanafus, competition over dunya. That is the disease of civilizations. And he said that is what will destroy them in the end. Because in the end, if here's your philosophy, us against them, the problem is their philosophy is us against them. So everybody's philosophy is us against them. And unfortunately for other people, you're their them, just like they're your us. Right? So you wipe them all out. In the end, everybody gets wiped out, right? Because they're out to wipe you out. You're out to wipe them out. And it's like just always wanting more and more and more. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said that the son of Adam, that nothing will fill his mouth, jof, nothing except the dirt in his own grave. If he had one mountain of gold, he'd just desire a second one. Nothing's going to fill you. And then he said, لا يشبع إثنان طالب العلم وطالب الدنيا. Two people will never be quenched. Seekers of knowledge and seekers of dunya. So you choose. You choose, right? Those are the two people that are going to be insatiated in the world. And you're either one or the other. You're either seeking knowledge or you're seeking dunya. That's it. No other choices in this world. If you look in a study they did in a survey, that the average worker, like service worker in this country, watches 30 hours of television a week. Children, they say 40 to 60 hours of television a week, a full-time job, watching nonsense.
This is what they're doing. When you go to the managers of these people, they watch 20 hours a week. When you go to the heads of the people over the managers, the overseers, then you get like 10 hours a week. When you get to the CEOs, they watch 2 to 3 hours of television a week. 50% of that material is material related to the work that they're doing. So the movers and shakers in this world are not sitting around watching television. They're utilizing their lives for shar, for evil. And they're spreading their facade all over the world, but they're busy at it. And the Muslims are asleep, and because we have gone to sleep, they have taken over. Because we have gone to sleep, they have taken over. And that's why we find ourselves in the horrific condition we find ourselves in. And until the Muslims wake up, it's just going to, one nightmare to another. We're just going to be in one nightmare to another. That's all it is. They're just nightmares because we're asleep. And when we wake up, then we can enter into the light of day. And Islam is a deen about waking up. That's what it is. Religion is supposed to wake people up. Islam is not an opiate. There are other religions that fulfill that function. In fact, they got rid of religion and now they just spread opium, quite literally. The same people that used to control the state, that controlled religion to maintain the masses, to do what they want them to do, when they got rid of religion, when they found it was no longer useful, now they literally spread drugs. You can see this, the CIA in this country is directly involved and engaged in drug dealing, bringing in cocaine, putting it into the inner cities in this country. In Liverpool, in England, in Liverpool, this is not a joke, I'm not making this stuff up. You can go buy this in mainstream bookstores and read this stuff of people within these organizations that admit this. They'll even admit this on 60 Minutes. I mean, this is not a joke, this is reality, people. There are people that want to keep you asleep. If they don't use the drugs of white powder, they'll use the drug of television, they'll use the drug of their mass media, they'll use all these drugs, but they're going to keep you asleep because they fear the day that you wake up. That's what they fear. And you should be very well aware of that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us this in the Quran. لِيُرِيَ فَرْعَوْنَ وَهَمَانَ وَجُنُودُهُمَا مَا كَانَ مِنْهُمْ يَحْضَرُونَ To show Fir'aun, all these political tyrants, and to show Haman, all these multinational economic, political, economic powers that are literally subjugating, humiliating, stealing the minerals and resources of Muslims and human beings all over the world in order for them to play golf on the weekends. And then you have Junudahuma, those like the Pentagon and all these powerful militaries that go around tyrannizing people and humiliating people, bombing innocent civilians, gassing human beings. We had Kurdish human beings that were gassed. Be aware of that, people. Kurdish human beings living in villages, mothers with their babies gassed by these people. This is how they feel about human beings. This is how they feel about it. Those gas bombs weren't made in those countries. They're made by the same people that bring good things to life. I mean, it's not a joke. This is reality, people. This is reality. And if you don't like it, go back to sleep. But this is reality. You're all adults and you better start just being aware of what kind of world we're living in and what we have to do to make some changes. Because the changes aren't going to come around if we just keep sleeping along, dozing along, putting on the snooze button. Because the alarm clock keeps going off. Allah has given us enough warnings and we just sit around. But Allah says that He promises to show Fir'aun, Haman, and his armies what they were fearing from these people. You see, when the day that they wake up, the day that they say we're not going to take any more,